Mr. Dobson, Nick is calling from a mobile on the M1. He's from Eltham and he says he knows the group. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Dobson.
Good morning. You say you know the group. How do I know you?
Well, it don't matter. I used to live in Eltham. I've since moved away. I moved out of London.
Yeah.
I remember you and your group around the area, around the brook, the Wellhall Road area.
Yeah.
Now, individually, you were like mice, but together you were quite lethal. Now I'm half caste, and you saying there was no racism in Eltham.
No. I said there is an element of racism in it. But
well, no, it's not an element. It's well known there's a lot of racism, and like the two women who rang from Bermondsey saying, there's no Bermondsey. Them two women shouldn't even be speaking. Bermondsey is a really racist area, and if you were honest, you'd say you'd know about it.
So what's the point you're making, Nick, to Mr. Dobson? What is the point?
Yeah, what's the question?
Well, the question was, I'm half caste.
Yes.
And I remember them. Now, they used to threaten people on the estate. Do you admit that?
I've admitted it quite in depth that there was scraps and run-ins with various different people on the estate, just the same as any other kid on the estate had.
No, it wasn't any other kid. You lot used to stick together, and like I said, individually you were like mice, but together you used to think you were a force to be reckoned with.
What do you say to Nick about that, Mr. Dobson? Well, you were forced to be reckoned with. You said that you were lovable rogues, maybe sort of knockabout craze.
No, I mean, the idea of the Eltham craze is complete ludicrousy, to tell you the truth. It's something that we have been disgusted with for a moment, but that is beside the point. I'll get back to what Nick is saying. Now, Nick says individually we was like mice. Now, by meaning it like that, he's obviously saying that we was like cowards on our own, and together, we was a false. I mean, where does this person get his ideas from? I'm quite astounded that he's phoning in with such a thing. It's not even a question. It's just him trying to get a point of view across on air.
Well, looking at the five of you at the tape, of course, in your flat, where you start talking about going down to pubs, getting knives, start talking about the violence you would like to do, talking about how best to slice somebody's face open, you can see why people will get the idea that you're violent.
Yeah, I say at the end of the day, collectively as a group, we stood up for ourselves. No matter, I mean, of course, on the stage, there's always arguments between you and someone else, or you'll get on better with one group of people than you do another. I mean, that sort of thing went on all the time. But as for the idea that collectively as a group we was a false for what? What does people think we was doing? We were 17 years of age. What would we have false for doing?
Marianne, good morning. You're in Middlesex. Your question, please.
Yeah, I just want to know, why aren't you angry?
Why not angry?
Yeah, now, if you were innocent and you weren't involved, and okay, say you think you were framed, why aren't you angry?
Well, do I sound like a happy person seeing it talking to you now?
Yes, you do. You sound...
I do.
Well, you sound fairly... Well, you're not feeling sorry for yourself.
Well, if you'd have been going through the same thing for 6 years, you become accustomed to it. It doesn't matter what things are thrown at you. Your skin becomes like rubber. You get tough. You learn to live and cope with the situations. My life is under constant threat. I've learned to deal with it. Now, at the end of the day, if you don't think I'm angry, then why? Do you honestly think I'd come on here and start shouting? I mean, it's not why I'm here. I'm here to have an intelligent conversation. I'm not here to shout my anger at people. I'm here to have an intelligent conversation with the British public.
Well, I think it's not normal the way you're reacting. And if I was in your position, I would be angry, I would be feeling, why the hell is this happening to me? You're not acting normally. Okay. I think you're guilty as hell.
All right, Marion, that's your thoughts. Thank you. David's in Manchester. David, good morning.
Good morning, yeah. I'd like to ask Gary a couple of questions.
Please go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, firstly, I just want to know, are you intimidated by the A-Courts and David Norris?
Absolutely not. They're good friends of mine. Me and Neil have been on holiday with our girlfriends, etc., etc., a couple of years ago. I'm not intimidated by them at all. They're very good friends.
It seems to me, this is just my opinion, mate.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that I think you're caught up in something which started out as a prank and it's gone wrong, and you're trying to shun it.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, same as I believe.
And also, another thing, I'm off the council estates in Manchester, do you know what I mean? And I know lads like you all over, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I presume you've got Millwall. Is it Millwall you used to go to, yeah?
I've been to a few Millwall games when I was about 12, 13. But...
I know it works, because I'm off the council estates as well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To see if you do this, you do that, and then something happens, you've always got the main leader and the people on the periphery like you and Luke Knight. And I really believe that. I don't think you did it, I don't think Luke Knight did it. but I think the other three are guilty as hell.
All right, David, thanks very much indeed. Of course, those anonymous letters said that Neil Acortt and David Norris were the ringleaders that were discovered, didn't they?
Yeah.
In your group, when you get together and you chat, whether you're chatting about holidays or chatting about what you're doing at night or chatting about Stephen Lawrence or, of course, talking in a brutally racist way, who takes the lead in the conversations?
None of us. None of us. No one takes the lead in the conversation. Whoever's got something to say speaks. It's just absurd to think there would be someone dictating what the conversation goes like.
You are loyal, though. I mean, one thing that does come across from you is that you show loyalty. Is that not? I mean, would you put loyalty to friends as a quality above most others?
No, like I said earlier, my friends have gone through the same traumatic experience as I have. They're the only people who understand how I really think and feel. When I lay in bed of a night and I do think into things quite in depth about what is going on around me, they're the only people I can speak to who understand what I'm going through. I mean, I'm not being funny to my own family or nothing, but even they can't quite understand it because it's different. It is an hard situation to understand.
But isn't there a sense of we're in this together? We're the only ones who understand what each other are going through. So whether we did it or not, we're going to hang together.
No, I mean we're friends anyway, and like I say, the way we all feel about each other has been created from this. Of course, because we stand by each other, all of us, all five of us, 100% down the middle. 100% down the middle.
You say about lying in bed. Do you enjoy untroubled sleep, or do you have nightmares?
I don't really sleep. I sleep about 4 or 5 hours a night, and when I do go to sleep, it's about 6 in the morning.
Do you have an untroubled sleep, or do you?
I'll tell you the truth, I don't think I do dream. It's not something, I don't ever remember dreams, put it that way.
Okay, some more faxes have come in. John Murphy says, question for him, Stephen. You keep saying you were found not guilty. Was this not guilty by a jury, or was it a case dismissed on a technicality or a lack of evidence?
Mr. Mansfield dropped the case because he offered no evidence against us. That is how the case, and then he said that to the judge. The judge instructed the jury to come into the room. And when the jury came in the room, he instructed them to give a verdict of not guilty.
Paul in Portsmouth faxes us, Mr. Dobson. He says, I've watched the TV programme and I've listened to Talk Radio's programme now. You are undoubtedly uneducated thugs, but as to your guilt, I just don't know. However, what I find curious is that during the secret video, you and your friends made no mention of Stephen Lawrence. You would have thought that in the privacy of their own home, they would have revelled in his murder, as you seem to think. That's Paul in Portsmouth.
Well, I think someone did answer that question for you earlier, Paul in Portsmouth.
That's right.
There is a bit on the surveillance video, but like as the person said earlier,
this is Frankie from London who emailed you lads, said, I bet the boys who murdered Stephen Lawrence are having a laugh while we are the suspect.
Yeah, it is on the video, and it's something that the press have not picked up on because it is not what they want people to believe. They don't want to turn round now and say, well, hold on a minute, this was said. You know what I mean? Because it goes in our favour. Nothing that goes in our favour will ever be printed. Nobody wants to hear that. That is why I'm sitting here doing it live, because it is unedited. No one can interrupt what I'm saying. It is an intelligent conversation. People are getting to speak to me, and people are getting to hear me for themselves for the first time. This is what I wanted. This is what I expected from Martin last week.
So you're as critical of the police inquiry as the Stephen Lawrence family?
What do you mean by that?
Well, the surveillance video that seems to that you say has been edited. It would certainly have come through the hands of the police, presumably. Why wasn't the piece on the surveillance video?
What do you mean? The piece where we say that about?
Yes.
It is on the surveillance.
Oh, it is.
It's been edited from the programme.
They've edited. That's what I'm saying. They don't want people to hear it.
And as Mr. Dobson says, this is your opportunity to hear him live, unedited, on 10:53, 10:89 a.m. Talk Radio on the Big Boys Breakfast with David Banks and Nick Ferrari. It's 9:41. Omar is in London. Good morning, Omar. You're through to Gary Dobson.
Good morning, David. How are you?
Yeah.
Can I ask some questions?
Yeah, I'm afraid you're going to have to be very brief because you have a bad mobile, I think. Go ahead.
No, Omar, we're going to have to try and get back to you.
Tony is in Kent. Sorry, Omar, we'll retry. Tony, good morning.
Hello.
Tony,
yes.
So I didn't quite catch that.
Tony, you're through to Gary Dobson.
Oh, hello there, Gary.
Hello there, mate.
It's all right. To be quite honest with you, I've only just realised that you were on the radio. I've got no questions prepared or anything.
Okay.
One thing I was going to say to you was that, I mean, I'm not here to judge you, son.
Yeah.
All right? Not like the rest of these hypocrites that are here judging you.
Yes, okay.
Because they're all guilty of something. Don't worry about that. I don't know if you did it. I don't know if you didn't do it. Okay? But what I'm saying is that surveillance video, right, I know this has already been covered, right, but it done you a favour, because there's no way, not once was that boy's name mentioned, and if you had done it, I think that it would have been. But I know that's already been covered anyway, but what I wanted to say to you is, one good thing that's come out about this, okay, is just how racism, just how racist the police are in all this, okay?
Yeah.
Another thing I'd like to say to you is that, as far as I'm concerned, I saw the programme on television the other day, okay?
Yeah.
And, you know, people are judging you. People are finding you and your mate Norris guilty of this because of things that happened at school, okay? Things that are supposedly have happened at school. You know, but you know, and I know through experience, okay, with my own kids, that if your father is a police officer, you will sail through school, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, if your face doesn't fit, they stitch you up. So in other words, the stitching up, the fitting up, starts from when you're at school.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by the establishment is against you?
It's exactly what I mean. I mean, the picture that's been painted of us by the British media is of people that have got a big-time gangsters, drive flash cars, loads of money, like big-time gangsters, big-time.
You have no money. You're living off your parents.
I'm living off my parents. I don't even receive benefit. I'm living.
Why?
Because I did receive benefit because they paying housing benefit at my flat that I had in Kent, but hold on, I didn't really want to talk.
All right.
No, go on. It's okay. What I was going to say is I had to move out of there because they kept stopping my benefits for any reason whatsoever they could. And if I was to sign on an hour late, my benefits would be stopped and they wouldn't backdate my checks. And regularly, people in my family had to pay out the rent for me to carry on living in that flat.
Tony and Kent was saying that video then did you a favour. He said it actually did you a favour that the video we're talking about was in last week's TV programme. Do you think it did?
Do I think the video done us a favour?
Because this is the one that portrayed you as racist.
Yep.
Using those words.
I can understand what context Tony's speaking about it. I can understand what context, but of course it didn't do us no favours. Because it made us look completely horrible, ignorant, arrogant pigs, to be basically honest. I do understand.
And in the eyes of a lot of people, possible murderers, of course.
Exactly. Now, I do understand what Tony's saying, but it's done us a favour. I mean, to know what sort of pressure that we've been under by the police, just by the pure fact that we've had a video camera fitted in a plug socket in a flat speaks volumes about how much pressure we've been under. From the age of 17, we've been followed, we've been bugged, we've been harassed. Do you know what I mean? Getting back to what he's saying, I do understand exactly what
he said. Okay, Gary is in London. Gary, good morning. Gary, good morning.
Yeah, morning. Gary, I was just asking you a question. You spoke about your mother quite a lot.
Yeah.
Would you look the big boys in the eye and swear on your mother's life that you had nothing to do with?
Right now, live now.
All right, okay,
Yeah.
Gary, we'll ask Gary Dobson. Gary from London is asking you to look me in the eye and swear on your mother's life.
Yeah. I look at you in the eye now and I swear to you on my mother's life that I am not guilty of this crime. I have always vehemently denied any involvement in this crime, and if that's what it takes for the British public to start believing me, then I will sit here and I will look you in the eye and I will say to you, on my mother's life, I am innocent of this crime. We are all innocent.
Do you know who is guilty of this?
If I knew who was guilty of it, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now like this.
Look me, you'll swear on your mother's life.
I swear on my mother's life.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. Carl is in Sussex. Carl, good morning. You're on the Big Boys Breakfast.
Yeah, hello, people. First of all, I'd like to just say, Dobson, you know me from school. I'm not going to say what my name is.
Okay, no problem.
I knew Stephen Lance for 12 years. My parents live in Woolwich.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I'd like to say, when we was in sixth form together, there was a guy called Kevin London.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Right? You heard of Kevin London?
Yeah.
Now, there was an incident that happened in Eltham. I can't remember the name of the road, where you and your friends attacked him. Right? Now, he come up to me and said to me, look, Jermaine, well, I've said my name. You know I am. My name's Jermaine.
I know anyway, so I wasn't going to say it, but I know anyway.
You knew me, all right, Gary? I know you, yeah?
You've got to be careful now you've named this other party, by the way, Jermaine.
Yes, he's already been on TV discussing this same subject, right? Now, he come up to me and said to me, well, look, this incident happened, and I did not believe him. I did not believe a word he said.
Jermaine, I'm not interrupting you there, I mean, carry on, but you knew me at school, right?
Yeah.
Now, you know what sort of person I am, and if I remember rightly, as far as I was concerned, you was a good friend of mine. We was good friends together. Am I wrong?
We was
at school.
We was good friends.
Yeah, we was good friends.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, with all these accusations that they're throwing against me, right, I'm not asking you for your opinion. I'm just saying, don't you think that it sounds a bit much? I'm not asking you to say whether you believe me.
Let me tell you my opinion, right, Gary?
Yeah.
To tell the truth, right? I know Neil Akel and Jane Akel.
Yeah.
Right? Let's not beat about the bush. You know I know them.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I know for a fact they were violent at school. I know for a fact that they were racist at school. I know this incident with Sean Kalitzy. And me personally, to tell you the God's honest truth, I know that you never killed Stephen Lawrence. But I know for a fact that you do know who killed him.
Do you know your school friend? Is this Kidbrook School where you all...
No, this is Cranwood School.
Cranwood School.
Over in Elton. Yep. Okay. Do you know who killed Stephen Lawrence?
I've answered that quite in depth. I do not know. I've even just fought on my mother's life.
Sean Kalitzy, of course, if I'm right, Jermaine, was a black lad down at school where Jamie Acorn, one of your friends, Mr. Dobson, confronted him with a monkey wrench. Is that right?
There was an incident. There was never any. There was a fight. It was not over a racist argument. It was not.
The racist language was used, though, Gary.
Maybe right. I wasn't there, Jermaine.
I know you wasn't there.
I wasn't there, mate. So I can't really say whether there was or there wasn't. It's not an argument I can cover. But all I know is that the argument was not over black and white. It was an argument over like what you get at school. One of them sort of things.
Well, can you explain to me the incident that happened with Kevin London?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's phoned up and asked for.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
The incident with Kevin London, I'll tell you the honest truth. He first of all said, well, I think it was his girlfriend, if I'm right there, Jermaine. His girlfriend said to police that I pulled a knife on him and I threatened him. Now, correct me, am I wrong in saying that?
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Jermaine, is that what...
The incident I was told that happened with Kevin was that you and Neil Acorn and Jamie Acorn confronted him in this area, and the racist language was used and a knife was pulled on him. He then told me, and I didn't believe it, and then 2 weeks later, Stephen Lawrence was murdered.
Yeah.
Just down the road from where you live, Gary.
Yeah. Now, I understand.
What happened at that incident then, Mr. Dobson?
There was no incident. This is what I'm about to tell you.
Go ahead.
I knew Kevin at school. And Jermaine, I know you'll know this. Me and Kevin never had any run-ins, never had any fallouts, never had any problems with each other at school. We wasn't good friends like me and you was, but we never had our run-ins or nothing. I never, and as far as I know, because obviously I wasn't there, so I can't comment on the others. As far as I know, none of us threatened Kevin London with that. I don't know. If that was the case, then he should have pressed charges. He should have argued the point in the court of law. Because at the end of the day, I've changed my perspective on how I think of everything, Jermaine. I want everything argued in the court of law.
Jermaine, can I ask, why do you know that Gary Dobson did not murder Stephen Lawrence? Is it a feeling that you have, or do you know for sure?
Well, what happened actually, I've known Gary from school, and I've known the people that he hang around with. I know, I don't want no disrespect. Well, I'm going to say my feelings on this blatantly. Gary Dobson is a follower, and he'll follow the crowd. I remember an incident that happened in the sixth form where I was about 16 now, where Gary came into me and he was boasting about him and his friends, Neil Acorn and a few other people that I don't remember their names, how they attacked a boy in the area and actually cut off his ear. And I don't know if Gary will agree with me or if he'll disagree or whatever, but I remember that actually clearly.
No, I mean, it ended up...
No, you can say whatever you like, mate.
No.
I know for a fact, I know what you're like, and I know what Neil Acorn and Jamie Acorn, and they are blatantly racist. Yeah? You and I know that.
Jermaine, is Gary Dobson, in your views, then, a blatant racist?
Yes, he is.
Okay, Jermaine, you're entitled to your point of view, mate. I will not disagree with you. It's up to you. You can have your point of view. At the end of the day, Jermaine, did I ever show any racism towards you at school?
You did.
Did I ever show you any racism? In the 6 years that me and you was friends, did I ever show any racism towards you?
Honestly and truthfully, no. That's why I say you're not involved. That's why I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying I am a racist. Now, at the end of the day, them actions on that video, Jermaine, I admit, is strong, extreme racist language.
Only because you didn't say anything to me at school, doesn't mean that you're not a racist, does it?
Well, if I was such a racist and didn't like black people as a whole, I wouldn't have been friends. Could I?
You know for a fact that you could not say that at our school.
What's that? Yeah, well, that was the way it was. I was friends with Jermaine. You know I was. I got on with everyone, Jermaine, at school. That is the type of person I am.
Gary Dobson, you are undercover racist. That's what you are. You're
entitled to your opinion, Jermaine.
All right, thanks, Jermaine. Nico, I think, is back in the area of Elton. Nico, good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You're through to Gary Dobson, go ahead.
Right, yes. Well, I'm living in Elton at the moment, and I came with an open mind about 5 years ago. It was about a year or something after the Stephen Lawrence killing.
Yes.
Came to go to university there, and I came with an open mind, but what I have found, it is a very, very racist area. No matter what Gary says, it is a completely racist area. I mean, I know this from my own personal experiences of walking through Elton town. White friends of mine who came there, and they've actually stated how, you know...
What, are you white?
No, I'm Asian.
You're Asian,
I'm
right.
Asian. I've actually had a French white friend, a French person.
What is your question to Mr. Dobson?
My question to Gary is, I've been told that there have been other racial incidents around the Brook Estate area, Coronet Cinema. There was a stabbing there of an Asian kid. There was a stabbing at the kebab. And I've been told that you've been involved with.
That's the same stabbing that you're talking about there. That was Rohit Dugal. He's a 15-year-old Asian boy from Eagonsfield School who was killed.
Right.
And it wasn't a racist attack. There was a person serving a life prison sentence for that attack.
So there were rumours going around that you guys were involved in that as well.
Well, how come someone's serving a life sentence for it?
Right, okay.
And the person who done it is on video camera doing it.
Actually, no, the other point is, Gary, is that I actually believe, and this is from seeing you in videos and all these shows and what have you, right? I actually do believe that you and Luke, is it Luke Knight?
Yeah.
For some reason, I actually believe you and Luke Knight aren't responsible for the killing of Stephen Lawrence.
Well, a lot of people have said that.
Yeah, I do believe it's the other three. Now, what I want to know is that there's a point made by the show broadcaster about the guy who emailed a letter and said that...
this is Frankie from London. Is this the evidence where the young men are talking about, I bet the boys who murdered Stephen Lawrence are having a laugh while we are the suspects?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, go on.
Now, I've actually seen that video surveillance, when it was broadcast on the news and that, okay? Now, I know you said that you knew that the flat was bugged, okay?
No. We had a running joke that the flat was bugged.
Right, okay, but you didn't know it was being actually video surveillance, did you?
Right.
We've covered this, Nico. What is your point?
Well, the point is, I actually saw the guys, these five laughing, okay, while they were actually stating that. Now, I actually think they were just covering themselves up, and they knew that the police were listening into them.
All right.
They actually stated it, but they were laughing their heads off while stating that.
I mean, if you
know the police,
that's what
we've talked about this before, yeah.
If you think that we knew that the police was filming us, why would we be putting knives in our pockets and walking out the door? It doesn't make sense. You're contradicting yourself.
No, I don't think you knew that the police were filming you. I think you know that the police were bugging you, yeah? What I'm trying to say is, profile for that guy Frankie, okay, is that I know for a fact, from seeing what I saw, okay...
So you don't know for a fact, this is your opinion?
Right, okay, it's my opinion, that you were actually trying to clear your name and saying that the other guys actually killed Stephen Lawrence were laughing their heads off, while that you were being accused, okay? But knowing very well, or not knowing very well, that you were being video surveillance, and on the video, you can actually see you laughing while you were saying that, so you were just playing up to that.
So what is your question?
The question is, this is actually making a point to Frankie, but my question is, why would you be laughing while you were saying that?
All right, there is the question at last from Nico. Why would you be laughing?
There is a smile on one person's face as it is being said. It is not a laugh, and it's just, I said, I bet they're laughing, and the exact words go, is whoever's done it, I bet they're laughing their heads off. And then it went over to someone else, and they said, yeah, they're probably doing that. And that was exactly how the conversation went. There was no laughing. There was no thing like that. It was two people having a conversation between friends. If you say that you think we knew we was being bugged, do you think we'd be saying things like, let's get chipped up? It wouldn't be happening. You're contradicting yourself there.
All right, Mr. Dobson, a question from Ricky in Glasgow. Ricky, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Mr. Dobson.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You've been put on trial by Her Majesty's courts where there was a public gallery and you were found not guilty. You're put on trial, apparently, by the television companies.
Yeah.
Where apparently the public have concluded you may be guilty.
Yeah.
You were put on trial with a videotape, which apparently the public may feel you're guilty.
Well, he wasn't put on trial with a videotape. It was part of a case, Ricky. Move to your point.
You've also had interactive radio made available to put your case. Do you think you've had a fair hearing on all these points?
Thanks, Ricky. What do you think, Mr. Dobson? Have you had a fair hearing?
What does he mean from the start? I mean, today,
Well,
yes,
Ricky...
yes, you there?
Yes, he is.
With interactive radio, this is the only opportunity with modern technology the public have had to discuss the implications
So
of
what, has Mr. Dobson had a fair hearing today, is the point?
Yeah, has interactive radio given you the opportunity to have your case heard?
OK, thanks, Ricky. Let's ask.
To be honest with you, I mean, this is the best opportunity I think I've had personally so far to get it out properly. This is me in touch with the British public. It's the British public whose concerns nowadays are not whether it's guilty or not. They want to hear our side of it. Now, at the end of the day, we tried to give the public our side of it last week on that programme. It was edited and cut to pieces, and it didn't get across how Martin had wanted it or how we had wanted it, because it was just no good. As you can see for yourself from the programme, what was it? What was the worth in making it? Now, at the end of the day, yeah, I think the radio is serving me fairly today. I really do think that this is the best opportunity I've had. The British public are talking to me themselves. They can ask whatever they want to ask. Not what TV interviewers want to ask or what the police want to ask. It's what they feel inside themselves, what they want to know.
Alan is in London. Alan, good morning. Your question to Gary Dobson.
Yeah, good morning, Gary.
Yes.
You said that you'd love to write a book. I'd like to know, do you intend to give any of the proceeds to the Lawrence family?
It is something I've thought about, and there is a charity which I would give proceeds towards. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't donate any money to the Lawrence family or nothing, but what I'm saying is there has been discussions about me wanting to do a book, and there has been a charity organisation that has come forward, which I'm not at liberty to say, thank you, and is not a racist organisation on my behalf, like Combat 18 or something.
Gary Dobson is one of the 5 men suspected of the murder of Stephen Lawrence. He's come on 10:53, 10:89 a.m. Talk Radio for the last 2 hours and offered you a unique, unedited opportunity to speak to him and ask him questions. There are still some questions out there which he has been asked, which I've asked him and which Banksy has asked him and all the callers. The difference of the stories between him and some of his colleagues of that night. Why one of his friends suddenly seems to remember being in that area, whereas before he just couldn't have any recollection at all of where he was been. Why they used knives so blatantly, whether they've allowed themselves to move from being lovable rogues on a council estate to suddenly using knives and sometimes monkey wrenches in fights, and the appalling videotape that showed them using terrible racial slurs and suggesting that black people should be tortured, shot with machine guns, burnt, and then have their limbs chopped off. Gary Dobson has addressed all of those here on 10:53, 10:89 a.m. Banksy and I, there's one last question that remains, Mr. Dobson, that we want to ask you here. You've sworn on your mother's life before. We will ask you one more time on 10:53, 10:89 a.m. Gary Dobson, are you responsible, or do you know who is responsible, or have any clue at all for the murder of Stephen Lawrence?
No, I don't. And I sit here and I was categorically stated to both of you and the rest of the British public today that I have absolutely no involvement in that killing whatsoever. If I knew, then I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today.
The time on 10:53, 10:89 a.m. It's 10 o'clock.
First time ever, one of the chief suspects in the Stephen Lawrence murder inquiry has been facing questions from the general public. Gary Dobson this morning joined the Big Boys Breakfast on 10:53 and 10:89 a.m. on the medium wave Talk Radio. He told Talk Radio he was prepared to swear on his mother's life that he's innocent.
I look at you in the eye now and I swear to you on my mother's life that I am not guilty of this crime. I have always vehemently denied any involvement in this crime, and if that's what it takes for the British public to start believing me, then I will sit here and I will look you in the eye and I will say to you, on my mother's life, I am innocent of this crime. We are all innocent.
Gary Dobson also told Talk Radio that all 5 suspects involved would not be suing the Daily Mail for branding them killers.
We went to see a representative of a top solicitor's firm in this country who categorically stated to us, on the grounds of the evidence, you will go through on flying colours, but on the grounds of public belief, you will not win. Even if you did win, you would not be guaranteed to receive the costs that would cover the cost of your lawyer's fees.
Gary Dobson also revealed to Talk Radio the 5 suspects felt there was no need for them to see the police over alleged inconsistencies in their stories during their television interview.
I've answered every question with the police. I've never, ever said no comment, ever. Now, at the end of the day, that got me to the Old Bailey and I got a not guilty. Why should I carry on speaking to the police? It doesn't do me any good whatsoever. I've got nothing further to tell the police.